Howdy Hexers, welcome back to Hex Center. I'm Mokog, and today we're bringing you some fantastic Hexonomics. Now, if this is your first time to Hexonomics, let me give you the quick rundown. There's a fantastic and wonderful economy in Hex, and what Hexonomics tries to do is break down all of our player behaviors as they relate to a particular subject, and then figure out what the expected value might be or what a system might be within Hex itself. And today we're looking at Kismet packs. Now, as you may know, we have moved on to the Oni Kismet packs. These beautiful things are found over here in our store under the Chark Mart. And we have the Kismet Reserve Oni pack. Now, this is the second type of Kismet pack to come to the store. So the question that we have at the moment is, why didn't we take a look at this on the first pack? The reason is we really wanted to see how the systems were going to work. If they did the test for the first pack and they didn't necessarily like some of the aspects of it, we didn't want to over forecast what could have been. So in this case, they were originally down at 30,000 gold per pack, and now we're to 15,000 gold per pack. So a drop in half on here when we saw a full cycle. So it's now, I think, is a really fantastic time to actually take a look at what is going on with the Kismet packs. Now, the important thing to note about the Kismet packs is that they have a variety of items that come in them. These are things like a Mercenary, a sleeve, 2 specific PvE cards, 4 pieces of equipment, and 2 alternate art cards, an alternate art uncommon, as well as an alternate art rare card. Now, we're going to go through those, but there's a very important piece of information that we have to know before we can really do a significant evaluation on the packs themselves, and that's actually the drop rate of any particular item in this pack. So each one of these packs has one item, but there's a percentage chance that you'll get for any particular one, and some are harder to get than others. And we'll see these in the values that they have on the auction house. It's not just how cool or interesting the effect of the item's going to be, but really how hard it is to get. Now, luckily, we have an amazing community, and they put together a wonderful spreadsheet that they pulled together about the information about 700 packs. A small sample size, I know, but enough to be relevant for our uses. So let's go ahead and jump right into the drop rates from this endeavor that's done by the community, as well as taking a look at some of these sweet items. So what we have here is the alternate art cards that we begin with. And so these are an alternate art Strangle and alternate art Something Borrowed. 2 wonderful cards. The Strangle is a really, really cute card, and the Something Borrowed has a really fun flavor that goes with it here. And we have our drop rates here. So it seems that Strangle is at approximately a 12% drop rate, while Something Borrowed is about a 6.4% drop rate. These are 2 really nifty alternate arts, and it kind of makes sense that the uncommon has a higher chance of dropping versus the rare. So these numbers seem to be somewhat in line. Now, next we have is our Mercenary. So this one seems to be pretty even at about roughly 5% drop rate. The Mercenary himself makes a really cool and interesting deck, and he seems to be maintaining a pretty decent value all on his own. So expect him to be in some really fun little Mercenary mix-ups, especially when you start factoring in the power of his party passive and some of the really fast and rapid decks that exist out there in AC2. Now, our Oni Assassin has about a 21% drop rate, with his equipment being 6.3% and 2.1% respectively. Now, that means it's about a 1 in 5 chance of getting an Oni Assassin, a little bit greater chance than that. The really important number here is actually the 2.1% for the Blade of Seki. So this means that roughly in about 100 packs, you might get 2 of these to drop. That really leads to a significant combination of rarity and unlocking potential for this PvE card, because the Blade of Seki is part of what really makes the Oni Assassin as fun to play as it can be, and especially as PvE breaking as possible. So there's a lot of interest in the Blade of Seki in and of itself, just from a play perspective, and only having a 2.1% drop rate, about that of a Primal pack, is really, really significant. And then we also have our Swiftball Trickster. Now this guy is probably going to be our most common. He's at a roughly 32% drop rate. And we'll see his Oni headscarf more than we'll see the Potions of Swiftness. This makes a good bit of sense because you'll want to see more headscarves considering there will be more Swiftball Tricksters in the whole realm of cards that will be created. And Chest of the Oni Order. Now this one probably has a very similar drop rate to the Blade. But we do see that the Chest of the Oni Order, as what's been measured thus far, is a little bit under at about 1.7%. This is another part that's really kind of boosting the price of what the Chest of the Oni Order is. It is significantly less than the Blade, and that's likely because there's this balance that has to be kind of struck between the rare legendary equipment and the legendary equipment. But whatever the case, it still demands a significant amount of platinum. And hitting one of these, you still might only get 1 to 2 per 100 packs. So that's one of the things we want to keep in mind, is that these amounts are coming definitely over averages as we go through. Now let's get down to the real values. So once we started doing the weighted averages based on the values on the auction house as of when we recorded this, as well as the drop rates associated that have been measured so far by the community, this is about what we got. So it seems as though the weighted average of a Kismet pack's value across the large scale of packs, not a single pack, but the large scale of packs, is about 137 platinum. And if we convert the prices in gold, we find they're about 30,000 or so gold. And it seems about the weighted average version of the return on investment for plat, considering that if you convert the 15,000 into platinum equivalents, there's going to be a little bit of wiggle room here because of the exchange rate, depending on how you measure. It's roughly about 149%. And our return on average, when you convert that into gold, is about 93%. So if you're looking to take a segment of gold and then turn it into more gold by buying Kismet packs and then selling all of the contents, you will find that you just under double your money. But it looks like plat is where you want to take, and it looks like it's a great method to convert gold into plat, which is really one of the places that I think Hex really wanted to take this, because these are a gold sink for the game. The idea is to pull gold from one part of the economy, have it turn into Kismet packs so that it goes away, and then you want to have platinum drawn into the economy so that you get this good exchange going on. So that way you're bringing more value into the game and into the economy, and then you're sucking out the generated gold from everyone performing in Frostring Arena as well as the adventure zones. So it seems as though from a market perspective that is what is occurring. If you have a greater return on your investment in platinum than you do in gold, your incentive is to actually take as much gold out of the system as possible to try to convert it into plat. And it shows that people, and especially paying players, are willing to trade into these materials for plat, because otherwise you'd see a reverse. So it gives a good understanding that, at least from the market perspective, that the numbers are matching up with an expected set of incentives. So I want to go ahead and thank everyone for watching. If you've enjoyed this Hexonomics, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I hope to be able to catch you next time with Dragon Maids. Oh yes, plenty of Dragon Maids.